Let me know if this sounds kind of familiar to you. It's like 1 in the morning and you're watching one of those reject modernity, embrace masculinity videos. You know, those kinds of videos that's like, it starts off with the screaming feminist whatever and the don't be fat phobic people crowd that's like eating a bunch of food or whatever. And the video starts off like that, and then the Ziz hardstyle comes in, and then it shows all these great men from past and present days doing crazy masculine stuff, philosophers and strong men, all that sort of cool stuff, right? So you end up watching those videos like back to back, one after the other, and then you get this sense of inspiration. You feel motivated, right? That 3 a.m. motivation kicks in. You turn on the Rocky IV soundtrack and you start busting out a workout right on the floor. And watching those videos makes you dream that someday you'll be great like those great men also. And while it lasts, that motivation feels great. But then 2 days later, it's 1 in the morning again, and you don't really feel that motivated to do that same 1 a.m. push-up workout that you did 2 days before, did you? You had an exhausting day at school or work, and you can't be bothered to work out at all. So, you do the usual. You open your incognito browser, you scroll through the hub for a few minutes, and then 10, 15, in some cases 2 minutes later, you feel worthless. You feel horrible about yourself. You feel like a complete loser. And that same motivation you had to become like one of those great men 2 days ago is completely gone. And then about a few days later, that same cycle happens all over again. You watch the Embrace Masculinity video, and then you do the workout, and then you feel pumped, and then it's gone again. Why is motivation like that? And I mean, it is inspiring to watch those hardworking, successful, great men from the past and present achieve great feats and great accomplishments, but I have one question that you know the answer to. How many of those men achieved what they did and still are achieving to this day by watching a YouTube video with motivational background music? None. And by the way, my name is Greg. I help young men on their self-improvement journey. And if you want to become part of the tribe, just subscribe down below and leave a like on this video if you like it. My question for the young men of today is, why do we keep falling for this? You watch something at 1 a.m. that gives you that motivation. You bust out your 50 push-up workout on the floor, and you're pumped. You're like, wow, I'm turning my life around. This starts now. This starts today. And then a few days later, it's all gone. Like, you don't follow through with that goal that you set for yourself. You don't follow through with changing yourself to reach your dream body. You don't follow through with anything. You stick to it for a couple of days and then call it quits. I think that to solve this problem, we need to ask ourselves, those men that you see in those reject modernity, whatever videos, how did they actually achieve their success? What steps did they take in order to reach a high level of accomplishment? Because it surely wasn't watching motivational YouTube videos. The way that I've broken it down, the way that these people achieve their success at something that they've passionately focused on is through 4 main factors. The first one is raw motivation. You do need motivation in order to kickstart whatever it is that you want to do. For example, when you first want to get into the gym, you do need that initial push, that thing that gets you over the edge to finally walk into the gym and throw all your hesitations to the side. That raw motivation is what gets you going for that first week. But motivation is kind of a feeling. Kind of like happiness or sadness or excitement, motivation is a feeling. It goes away after a while. And after that first week of working out, when you're all sore and everything, let's take a rest day. I don't want to keep going. Sounds like you, right? I know it sounds like you because it sounds like me, and we're not that different, are we? The thing that gets you over the edge after motivation starts to subside is discipline. Discipline is one of the most important skills that you'll ever encounter when it comes to your self-improvement journey. Now, I'm pretty sure you've probably already heard this quote before, but discipline is basically doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Where motivation gets your foot through the door, discipline gets you all the way through to the end of your goal. The best way I can describe this is with something I've already experienced, which is the gym. Motivation gets you to the gym for the first 3 days, and discipline gets you to the gym for the first 3 years. It keeps you going even when you don't feel motivated, and you're definitely not going to feel motivated maybe for 50%, maybe for 80% of the time that you're there, especially when you're starting off for the first few months. Discipline and following through with your goal is what's going to get you through the majority of your progress. The best way I can visualize this to you is think of success as a graph where your starting point is on one end and your success goal is on the other end, way up here. A lot of people like to think that success is a graph that looks like this, where it's just a positive linear graph. It is not like that in the slightest. Success is a graph where you don't see any change, and you see tiny change, and then boom. What's it called? It's a parabolic graph. It goes up exponentially after a certain amount of time. And you need to understand this in order to know how discipline and motivation are going to affect whatever your goal or journey is. So if we're going to take YouTube, for example, I've probably seen this same parabolic graph in my own case. And this is only on a small scale, mind you. The channel is roughly at about 4,000 subscribers now, but for the first three and a half months, I was at 14 subscribers, like 10 to 14 subscribers. And then about a couple months ago, I had one video that blew way up, and I think that video's momentum is the reason why the channel is still going. However, if I would have given up at the 3-month mark and not constantly uploaded after that, I would not have seen the parabolic explosion of success that one video led to me achieving. And this is going to continue forward the same way. Now that I'm at 4,000 subscribers, my starting point is still way down here. My goal for YouTube is to reach the 100,000 mark by the end of this year. And that seems unfeasible right now. But how unreasonable did it seem for me to get from 14 to 4,000 in 1 or 2 months? That's exactly the reason why discipline is gravely important for whatever you're trying to succeed at. And I'm living proof of that. I'm also living proof of what happens when you're not disciplined. A good example is that the fact that I missed dozens of workouts probably last year before, when my mental health was really bad. I was the one person out of my friend group who was still going to the gym, but I was out of shape. I could barely run a mile. I convinced myself that dirty bulking was the answer to how I should get strong. And now that I've been disciplined to going to the gym and actually paying attention to my workouts, actually paying attention to my diet, staying disciplined towards that purpose, now I'm in the best shape, highest amount of strength that I've ever been in before. And this kind of brings me on to the third aspect on how men become great and successful. And that's dedication to your purpose. You're gonna hear a lot of that in the self-improvement community. Be on your purpose, King, be on your purpose. But it's not BS. When you have a purpose that you're do or die for, that's what keeps you disciplined. Not having a purpose will only give you motivation, but having a purpose is what leads to you having discipline. Because then you have something to fight for. Take Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. He could have just been a guy that wanted to work out and get fit, but no. In one of his early interviews, he said that his purpose, as a teenager, as a 15-year-old, I think he said his purpose was to reach the highest level of bodybuilding. And that purpose is what brought him to that great level of success. And now that's why he's in those Embrace Masculinity videos, because he obeyed his purpose. He could have just given up in the first 3-5 years and said, wow, I look great, and then called it quits. But that's not what someone on their purpose does. And I can say without hesitation that I know my purpose is to inspire thousands, if not millions, of young men. To be able to inspire them by showing them my self-improvement journey, my workout, my body transformation journey, my goal to reach financial freedom through entrepreneurial endeavors, which in a future video I'm excited to talk to you guys about. That's the kind of thing that pushes you to keep going even when it's hard to stay motivated. That extra push that nobody else is willing to make when all the cards are down, that's what makes you successful. That's what gets you from here on the success chart to up here. The next major factor I do need to mention is luck. And before you start losing your marbles, like, I knew it was luck. You only blew up on YouTube because of luck. Your video only made you only have 4,000 subscribers. You got lucky. I need you to simmer down and take a deep breath, and let me explain how luck works to you. Luck is only a multiplier for the things you've already been disciplined to do. If I never had the discipline to upload consistently on YouTube and make quality videos at that, I'm not tooting my own horn, but come on. A lot of the self-improvement videos that I see of new guys trying to set up their channel, quite frankly, they're pretty low effort. And to repeat myself, luck will only be a multiplier to the things you've been disciplined to do. The guy who uploads one YouTube video a month for 12 months, that's 12 videos in total, only has 12 chances for a video to blow up. But what about the guy who uploads a video a week? That's 52 videos in total. Well, now he has 52 chances. The guy who uploads twice a week, that's 104 chances. You see where I'm going with this? Don't blame other people's success on luck just because you didn't want to put the same amount of work in. But aside from that, luck can also play a role if you didn't put any work into it. So for example, where you were born, what country you live in. You didn't necessarily choose that, and that's true. And that can have a serious effect on how your outcomes turn out, but it shouldn't discourage you from never trying. Where you're at now is not an excuse for never, ever, ever trying. My example for this is, let's say you want to reach a certain goal, but genetically, there's some limitations in that. So if you want to become a basketball superstar, let's say like the professor, he's a great example of this. He wanted to become a basketball superstar at a young age, but he only grew up to be 5'8", and generally the NBA is not going to be taking people who are 5'8". However, did he give up at that point? No. He still wanted to achieve a dream of becoming a basketball superstar. So what did he do? He used his skills and his hard work in order to create a YouTube channel that millions, if not billions of people watch. And he achieved success through that. Now the professor's name is known more than some of the bottom level NBA players. He's more known than NBA players. Obviously, the top level superstars are way up here, but now he's kind of on the same level as some of those bottom level NBA players. So what does this mean for someone like you or me? It means that we don't need to be born with the highest amount of genetic talent or genetic gift in order to reach a high level of success at something that we want to be great at. You don't have to be born with the greatest amount of talent to reach a high level of success. The margin for success is even greater in things that don't require a high level of genetic talent. Something like entrepreneurship or YouTube, for example. You don't need to be the most talented person to make it on YouTube, and a lot of people are proof of that. Think about it this way also. On the graph of success, which guy is going to push through this point where he's right about to make it to that peak? Is it going to be the guy who's been dedicated to his purpose all the way there? Or the guy who started here and has been handed everything that he wants whenever he wants it? That guy who's been handed everything, he's only going to probably creep up here, lose motivation, and start over, and start over, and start over, until he finally quits, gives up on his dream, and does whatever people tell him to do. That guy who's been dedicated ever since he was over here, he's seen all of that stuff all the way through where that success was flat. So you know, as soon as he sees that tiny bit of progress, his progress is going to explode and he's going to reach that level of success that he wants to reach. And I know for a fact that can be you. I know for a fact it's definitely going to be me. You need to have confidence when it comes to this stuff. You need to be sure of yourself when it comes to what you want to reach in life. I know I sound like some Instagram motivational poster at this point. Like, you can do it. You can be whatever you want, but I'm serious. There is little stopping you from trying. And so long as you establish that purpose that you want to reach, that purpose that you have in life, and you stay dedicated to it, if nothing, you're going to see some level of success at it. But importantly, you won't know until you try. So, I'm sorry if I started sounding like I was rambling at some point in this video, but I just want to get that out there. Remember, winners win, losers lose. Go be a winner today.